On behalf of Tushita, it gives me great pleasure to welcome our old friend, Venerable Lobsang Chodron, whom I actually know as Amy Miller. She's been here several times and taught many of you earlier, I think. So we are very happy to have you back. Amy actually encountered Buddhism long back, I think in 1987, when she attended the Kopan Monastery course in November, the famous November course that we have at the FPMT Center. And since then, she has spent a great deal of time engaged in meditation retreats, study, teaching, and Buddhist center management throughout the world. I think you were heading the Vajrapani?
Couple of centers.
And
Milarepa Center.
And Milarepa Center, yes, in the US.
Yeah.
And prior to her Dharma life or incarnation, she was a political fundraiser in Washington, D.C. and also worked for Mother Jones magazine in San Francisco, California. Amy was ordained as a Buddhist nun in June 2000 by the great Tibetan master Venerable Chodron Rinpoche and has been teaching extensively since 1992. Amy is also the co-author of Buddhism in a Nutshell and a contributor to Living in the Path, a series of online courses produced by FPMT. I'm very glad that today Amy is going to be enlightening us on the theme of love, attachment, and creating healthy relationships. Thank you.
You so much.
Welcome.
I'm delighted to be back here. Thank you so much for taking this time out of your evening to come here.
Especially Saturday evening.
Saturday evening. So you might have plans after this, which this is always a nice little teaser, and then you could go do something. Or are some people off on Sundays? Some people have off from work Sunday, so then you have another day like that. So it's nice. I wasn't sure the exact work schedule. Okay. So now that we're all here, I would like to start with a little meditation. Okay. Some of you may be new to meditation. Some of you may be very familiar. Great. What I want to do is just find that posture. I think most of you look like you're quite comfortable and familiar with the meditation posture. Part of it is to have your spine as extended as possible. So we know the spine is not straight, but this way it's as if the back is straight, but an extended posture, perfectly fine to meditate sitting in a chair. Just try not to lean too heavily against the back of the chair. Your back will become straight and will become strong. We often, there's different variations on this posture. One is to place the palms face up, right on the left with the thumbs touching. It's around the level of the navel and it's right against the body. Okay, so this keeps the body erect. If your hands are out here, you'll slouch and tend to get drowsy. So it's a very active yet relaxed posture. Okay, so there is some space between the arms and torso. Head is a little bit tipped forward. If it's up here, you get a lot of mental distraction. And if the head is too far down, you get drowsy. And please interrupt me if you can't understand my accent or don't understand a word, something that I'm saying. You can also have the lips relaxed lightly together. The tongue is curled, touching the upper palate in the mouth. This cuts down on the production of saliva, so you're not swallowing all the time, which can be an obstacle and a distraction in meditation. And the eyes can be lightly closed or slightly open. Find your way into as comfortable a position as possible. And keep a normal, natural breath moving through your system. And as we've had busy days, let's try to bring ourselves into a more relaxed place and just start at the top of your head. Work your way all the way down through your body, down and out through your feet and toes. Take a couple of minutes and notice any tension you may be holding in your body. And just allow your breath to open up that space and release the tension. Particularly be aware of your brow, your jaw, neck and shoulders. These are areas we store a lot of tension. Again, slowly allowing them to release. So let's look at the posture of the mind now. The posture of the mind. What is your purpose for being here this evening? Take a moment to consider your purpose or your intention for this time this evening. So thinking about love and attachment, just consider you may be able to get some information this evening. May benefit your mind, may help you open your heart. And imagine a space where you're able to benefit other beings as well because of this information. If you'd like to include the idea of helping others as much as possible, if you'd like to include that in your motivation, take a moment to direct your awareness now, if you can, towards a positive motivation for this time, and set a good intention. So visualize now. Just imagine one person that you care very much about, perhaps love the most on the planet. Bring them to mind. Notice the feelings that go through your body thinking about this person. Notice the space in your mind in relation to this person. So in the Tibetan system, the mind is located at the heart center. So it's not a physical entity like the body, not located in the heart, the organ, but in a more subtle energy system, existing in a gross level, a subtle level, and a most subtle level, not physical in form, but residing inseparably with the winds of the body, again in their gross, subtle, and most subtle forms. So imagine this heart-mind space at the center of your being. And in relation to this person you're thinking about, allow this ray, this drop of golden light begin to emanate from that place deep in your core. Imagine this warming, healing golden light beginning to grow from your core of these loving feelings you have in relation to this person. If you find yourself blocked, it's simply distraction, and just bring your awareness back to this loving golden light that is beginning to pour forth from your heart center. Imagine it growing and beginning to fill your entire body. Moves through your limbs, pervading all the systems of your body, neurological, respiratory, circulatory, digestive, on and on. Imagine the radiance washing over every organ and going down to a molecular level in your body, touching every cell, every atom, every minute particle. Pure, unconditional love. Let it move through your mind. So every thought, every mental experience, every memory, every personality trait is touched with this golden radiance of love. So that body and mind, imagine, are just pervaded with this. And slowly just imagine it melting back into the heart center. And slowly bring your awareness back to yourself seated here in this room. Please relax. And you can slowly open your eyes. So just a question for you from the meditation. For any of you, what is the essence of what you're feeling doing the meditation? This was very short, and I know there's a bit of distraction upstairs, but anything that you're noticing, what's the essence of pure unconditional love for you? What is it about? Anybody? Yes?
Watching only.
Watching?
Not expecting.
Not expecting. No expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What other kinds of things come up?
Warm.
Warm? Nice, is a nice feeling?
Yeah.
So the thing is, it's always available to you. This is at your core. It's always available to you. And we separate ourselves from this experience many, many times during the day. Many, many times in our lives. Okay? So this is fundamental to the nature of your mind, actually. Experiences of hatred, and hatred you can't have in your mind at the same time that you have love in your mind. Okay, you can check yourself. I ask you to please check up, actually, on everything I'm saying. Okay, don't just accept what I'm saying. Try it on, test it yourself with your mind. Check if you can have hatred in your mind at the same time you have love in your mind. Okay, so this is a direct antidote to experiences of anger and hatred, but jealousy, fear, anxiety, stress, confusion, cruelty, laziness, I could go on and on, pride, right? Those are not innate with your mind. Tibetan Buddhist system says they're not innate with your mind. Love is fundamental in your mind. So it is there all the time. We construct the walls that prevent us from experiencing it. this basic meditation of love and kindness, and there's variations on this, right? It's always accessible. You're sitting in traffic, right? Very common in Delhi. Right? What happens to you when you're sitting in traffic? I'm just curious. Anybody? What's the experience in your mind when you're sitting in traffic?
Impatience.
Impatience, right? And things that get worse from impatience, I will say, okay? So the mind gets impatient, okay? Impatience comes into the mind, it's not innate with the mind, like a dark cloud coming through the mind, some constricted experience, and then it obscures us from love. Okay? And then impatience branches out into other things, other negative mind states that are not innate with the mind. So as long as you become a little bit aware, and then you could sit in traffic, and one thing I didn't take it a step further, but sometimes we're doing this meditation, and you can do it as long as you have time to do it, and you're pervaded body and mind with this experience, slowly. This takes time. Experience. And then what you're doing is, you might have somebody suddenly, we had a friend we thought of that we liked, somebody we love. That's easy. But then you can consider somebody more challenging in front of you. So first practice with the friend, and you could send them wishes. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. May loving kindness manifest throughout your life. You can make your own wishes, okay? But what happens is, if you're sitting in traffic, then why not have those ideas in your mind instead of, I'm late. This guy's being a jerk. Why don't they go faster? Why aren't they moving? Why is this guy trying to cut in? All of that tends to constrict the space of your mind, which can be vast, unlimited. Okay? But we like to put boxes up and walls. Why? Because then we feel safe. Okay? If you're around somebody like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you get the sense there's no walls in that mind. And it's just blissful space of loving kindness. That's been my experience. I'm sure you've had that experience around His Holiness. And it's a little bit overwhelming the first few times you're around it. It's really like, because we're not around people like that. But that exists in your mind. So what I'm more aware of now is when I have a wall up in my mind, you know, I'll just notice, or this person frightens me, or this person, I'm not sure about them, like this. So then I notice I get these little walls, and then I think I feel safe, but it just constricts the experience of pure unconditional love, okay? So then we have something I'll call attachment. We're all aware of that as well. So difference, some of you that aren't as familiar with this, that don't already know this answer in a sense, what fundamental difference between love and attachment, what do you think about, if you've had some experiences you may label attachment, what would be the big difference between love and attachment? So we had a feeling first of, people said warmth, and it's comfortable, it's a good feeling. Think, is attachment like that for you? Is it the same? Could be, what's different about it, do you think? Would you say?
There is little tightness.
We expect a lot from the person.
You're expecting a lot, and you had said no expectation. Thank you.
No, when there is attachment.
You're expecting.
And when your expectations are not fulfilled, then you become angry with the person. You
Right.
start developing hatred. That very thing which you used to call love transforms into negative emotion immediately. When we are loving unconditionally like we are doing now, it doesn't transform into hatred. It
Okay.
remains like that, non-judgmental.
Can everybody hear back there? A bit? So when the things transform, all of a sudden you're in love and everything's great, then it moves into attachment because I didn't get my expectation met. And then I get angry, and then it changes the whole situation. You were going to say?
There is a little tightness.
Tightness? You lose the space in the mind, and what else happens? Anybody else?
Suffering.
Suffering
Fear,
and vulnerability.
fear also, fear of abandonment.
Fear of abandonment. We have fear of abandonment, of not being wanted, of being rejected, all those things. They're all tied up together, okay? And you tie them all up together, and then you have a nice big knot. And that feels really good in here, okay?
But excuse me.
Solid, constricted, yes.
When you have a symbiotic relationship, is that attachment? Like a child with the mother?
It's okay, so that depends a bit on, the child-mother relationship, very unique relationship, very special in many ways, very special. So let's look at that as well, and in relation to attachment. But this is great when we get into, you got the fear of rejection, of not, like I said, these get all tied up in a big knot, right? And I'm hanging on to that. I'm so desperate to have the fear. So you said something key, you all said something quite interesting, and you said, I'm not getting my expectation met. They're not meeting my expectation. Okay?
Selflessness.
Okay, so you've got selflessness and you have selfishness. Okay? The main difference between love and attachment. Okay? What is love fundamentally? Does anybody know?
Give.
Gift, giving.
It's what we mean, well, taught here also, that love is really, thinking more about the other person than yourself.
Thank you.
Attachment is basically thinking about yourself.
Thank you.
Well, I've learned this here actually.
But that's the key, okay? And it's about it's all these things caught up about giving. Okay, the key is love is wanting the other person to be happy.